will come in your help. Just look to the hills. For your better days. That ain't no I want better praise. That's not an I want better praise. That's one of those thank you for what I got right now praises. But come on and give him a better days praise. I don't know how, but I know it's gonna work out. Give him a better days praise. Better days. Father, we come now. Hallelujah. We've come now to hear from you. Preach to us. Preach through us. So that we may be able to help your people. Thank you now for confirmation. Thank you for affirmation. Thank you for explanation. Thank you for communication. Then God, we thank you for application. Hey, glory to God. Thank you today. In Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Y'all that? It made me excited right there. Because I had a flashback of when I was preparing.
Yeah.
And when we read the scriptures, you'll understand why. That song, Better Days Are Coming.
Yeah.
They didn't know what I was going to preach this morning. But go to 2 Kings chapter number 4. God got something to tell us. Go to 2 Kings chapter 4. While y'all going there, how many know he's made a way for you?
Catch you when you're falling. Yes, he will. Pick you up when you're down. Yes, he will. He's good. He's good. You can't beat him being good. He's just good. So good. So good.
Lord have mercy. Verse number 1 says, y'all, some of y'all ain't caught these better days yet, but maybe y'all ain't been through nothing. Now there cried a certain woman of the wives of the sons of the prophets unto Elijah, saying, Thy servant, my husband, is dead, and thou knowest that thy servants did fear the Lord, and the creditor is come to take unto him my 2 sons to be bondmen. And Elijah said unto her, What shall I do for thee? Tell me, what hast thou in the house? And she said, Thine handmaid has not anything in the house save a pot of oil. Then he said, Go borrow thee vessels abroad, and all thy neighbors, even empty vessels. Borrow not a few. Look at the setup.
Yes, sir.
And when thou art come in, thou shalt shut the door upon thee, and upon thy sons, and shalt pour out into all those vessels, and thou shalt set aside that which is full. Verse number 5 says, So she went from him, and shut the door upon her and upon her sons, who brought the vessels to her, and she poured out. And it came to pass, when the vessels were full, that she said unto her sons, Bring me yet a vessel. And he said unto her, There is not a vessel more. And they all stayed. Then she came and told the man of God. And he said, Go, sell the oil, and pay thy debt, and live thou and thy children of the rest. I want to talk to you this morning. You talk back to me from this subject. When you are at the end of your rope. What? When you are at the end of your rope. James Dobson tells the story of a little toddler by the name of Frankie.
Yeah.
And Frankie was a handful, to say the least. One day he pulled a chair from the kitchen table and pulled it over into a window of his house, and he carefully placed the chair inside the drapes or inside the curtains, and he stood up in the chair after he raised the window. And he was looking at his mother working outside in the yard. His mother came back into the house, and when she came back in the house, she was calling him by his name, Frankie. But Frankie wouldn't answer. And I'm trying to paint a picture for you. And Frankie wouldn't answer, and she kept looking around the house, trying to find Frankie. And finally, she looked into the window, in the direction of the window, rather, and she could see the legs of the chair behind the curtains. And he was sitting there quietly, but when she got to him, he looked at his mother and he said to her in very somber terms, he said, "I've got to get out of here." Some of y'all missed it. The question is, do you ever feel trapped? Have you ever felt like you were at the end of your rope? Y'all talk back to me if you can. What do you do when you reach the end point of your rope? Well, a realist person, a person who is real about their life and their salvation and their walk with God, what they do is they take the rope and tie a knot at the end of the rope. And continue to hang on. A pessimist person, a person who really has an I don't care attitude, might as well just let go. And I want to suggest to you today, if you're in this house and you've ever been to the point, or maybe you're at the point right now to where you feel like you're caught between two opinions, am I going to tie a knot in the rope, or am I just going to let go and fall to my death? Can I suggest to you that whatever you do with every little fiber in your body, that you tie a knot at the end of the rope and hold on just a little while. Longer, somewhere in a place today where it seems like life has dealt you an unfair hand. And you're at the end of your rope. What do you do? What do you do when you're facing problems with your children that you cannot solve? What do you do when your marriage is on the rocks and the crashing waves of hopelessness are unrelenting and they beat in uncertain paths? What do you do? What do you do when there are problems at work and it seems as though there's no way out? What do you do when there are problems in church and it seems like nobody is hearing what God has to say? What do you do when you have more month than you have money? What do you do when your loved one's body has begun to deteriorate by the hands of sickness, and then they're wrapped up in death, and now you're crying with tears in your eyes? What do you do? What do you do when your heart is broken? What do you do when your dreams are shattered? I'm preaching better than y'all responding. What do you do when your hopes have been dashed? What do you do when you're walking through spiritual darkness? John McClurkin said, what do you do when you've done all to stand? Doggone it, you just keep right on. You keep right on standing. Yeah, it was the William brothers said, I'm holding on by faith. And since I'm holding on by faith, I'm going to keep holding on because I can't let go of my faith. I don't think anybody in here but the Lord has answers to all of those questions I just asked. Yet there may be some times, or there may be some help rather, in 2 Kings verses 1 through 7. Because when we get to the end of our rope, we still got to realize, thank you, choir, that better days are still coming. This passage tells passage tells us about a woman. Her husband had died. I'm not trying to bore you today. I'm just trying to encourage you today. His wife, her husband rather, had died, and she only had just her sons and her maid.
Yeah.
In her pain, in her poverty, she did not only she did the only thing she knew that she could, and that was she turned to the Lord for help.
Help us.
I don't know where you are in your life, but whatever you're going through, you always got to have enough sense.
Yeah.
Can I say it this way? Y'all don't get mad with me. You've got to be dumb enough
Yeah.
to look to the Lord for help.
Yes.
And I ought to have 2 witnesses, and I'll make 3, that when you look to him for help, he always shows up. Look what happened. When she looked to the Lord, God came through in a very big way for her.
Yes.
And I don't care how you feel about it, you cannot beat God's giving.
Yeah.
This passage teaches us of the glorious truth that God has a plan for all of our problems. Can I say that again? God has a plan for all of our problems. That there's not a problem that you go through that God doesn't have a plan for the reason why you're in it. You wonder why Pookie and Ray Ray walked out is because God got a plan of giving you somebody better. You wonder why your child that you know you raised the right way went out there and did some crazy things and wound himself or herself up in jail is because God has a plan for that problem. You understand? Sometimes you want to know why it is that folk in the church won't act right. They always keeping up hell, but then they're always sick. They always broke, busted, and disgusted. God got a plan for that problem also. You wonder why sometimes you come into church and it feels like it's just cold as ice in there. God has a plan for that. It could be he's waiting on you to warm up the place. These verses show us that just as God took care of this widow, he will take care of you.
Yes, sir.
This passage lets us know that when we reach the end of our rope, there is help. And there is still hope.
Yes, sir.
I want to take these 3 verses, if you would, and share a few lessons that could be comforting or could be helpful to us. But when we reach the end of our rope, first thing I want to leave with you is one. I'm going to get out of here. I ain't going to hold y'all day. God knows our problems. Can I get some help here?
Yeah.
God knows our problems. Look at verse 1, if you will. Look at verse 1. I want to walk the text today, if you will. Look at verse number 1. Verse number 1 says, it suggests to us that there was despair in her family.
Yeah.
Notice in verse number 1, there is a word that is spelled C-R-I-E-D, which simply is cried.
Yeah.
The word cried means to moan. It means to weep uncontrollably. It means to shriek out in grief.
Yeah.
This word identifies with the sound of a broken heart.
Yeah.
Somebody want to know, I believe somebody asked the question one day, how do you mend? Al Green said, how do you mend? A broken heart. And I discovered something. The only way to know that a heart has been broken, there has to be some evidence of a broken heart. A broken heart makes noise.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't get it. A broken heart makes noise. A broken heart makes you cry at night. A broken heart makes you shed tears, make folk want to know what's wrong with you. A broken heart will have you seeking out medical help that will help you to deal with the pain. A broken heart will have you talking to the Lord in the midnight hour. A broken heart will have you talking to God early in the morning. A broken heart will have you crying out. desperate for some help. Question is, how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
Oftentimes we want to be healed. We want to be delivered.
Yeah.
We want to be set free.
Yeah.
But we talk to everybody about it but the Lord. And some of us have gotten so carnal to God placing someone in the form of his preach man that is able to sympathize, cry with you, pray with you, then encourage you, and you have the audacity to say, I'm not telling the preacher all of my business. Well, if you don't tell the preacher your business and you ain't got enough sense to pray for yourself, how are you ever going to get out of what you're in? There was despair in the family. Why was there? Why was she in despair? She was in despair because there was death in her family. I'm still in the book.
Yeah.
She was married to one of the sons of the prophets.
Yeah.
These were the men who were in training under Elisha, Elisha, to be the prophets and the preachers in Israel. Look at the picture. Look at the picture. Her husband, her lover, her friend, her provider, her protector, her boo thing, her all in all, the one that made her tinkle, the one that made her smile, the one that made her cry. He's now taken away from her in death. And she is broken because her loved one she loved so well, has been taken away from her. Can I stop there real quick and ask you a question? Have you ever been there? To where someone you love so dearly
Yes, sir.
is now no longer there. I've heard some of y'all in here talk. If you still got your mama, you ought to do right by your mama. Love your mama. Spend time with your mama. If you still got your daddy, spend time with your daddy, because you understand now that when they're gone, you can't have those moments anymore. Have you ever been there when death came knocking in your room? Death came and took your loved one and you wonder, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Can I say something real quick and y'all might get mad with me?
Come on, Pastor.
Everybody dead ain't buried.
Yeah.
Let me move. Some of y'all sleeping beside some dead folks.
Yeah.
Some of y'all stay up all night on the telephone talking to dead folks. You work with dead folks. And then you walk around talking about, I got a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, and you ain't speaking life into nobody. But there was despair in her house, there was death in her house, there was also a whole lot of debt in her house.
Yeah.
And as it was a custom here now, it was that if you did not have the money, you had to offer up a sacrifice.
Yes, sir.
And her sons would have had to become the sacrifice.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have been sold into slavery. They would have been taken into slavery. See, there's a difference in being sold into slavery and being taken into slavery. See, being sold into slavery would have meant she would have gotten some money for it.
Yeah.
Being taken into slavery would have been like your grandson who locked up. They just took him away from you.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't gonna talk to me. You can't talk to them when you get ready. You can't go see them when you get ready. They on a schedule. Only time you get to see them is when them folks say you can see them. You eat when I feed you. You go where I tell you to go. You get up when I tell you to get up. You go to bed when I tell you to go to bed. You do what I tell you to do. And I need about 3 folk that don't mind becoming slaves to the word of the God, of the word of the Lord. When you become a slave to the word of the Lord, you don't have to worry about despair. You don't have to worry about death. You don't have to worry about death because you know He paid it. Since her husband is dead, she cannot pay her bills. And as a result, her creditors lodging on her door. They calling her phone. Some of y'all gonna look at some creditors calling your phone today and just flip it over. You have reached the voicemail box of. As a result, her creditors, as I just stated, her creditors are taking her sons away as slaves so that they can work off her debt. And this was allowed. I need you to understand something. If you read Leviticus 25 and 39, you'll find that this act of taking her sons into slavery to pay the debt, it was allowed under Jewish law. She had been deprived of her husband, and now she's about to lose her sons as well. It seems as though she is in over her head, and there's no way that she can make it. But I like this because even in the midst of all that she was going through, and none of it was looking up for her. The upside to this first verse was she still had devotion in her family. See, I discovered that which you are devoted to is that who you turn to. My God. In spite of all of her problems, she's still holding firm in the grip of her faith. She needs help. But she does not know where to turn to her in her family. She doesn't know which one of her friends she can turn to. In her desperation, she does not try to find someone to loan her some money. See, that's what a lot of us, our problems are. We're already in debt. Right. Yeah. You went Christmas and got in all kind of debt. Then you turn around in January and pawned your car title. Talking about I'm going to get it out with my income tax. But you already at the car lot trying to get another car and about to lose one you already got that's paid for. Why do you turn to? In the desperation, she turns. Here it is, to the man of God for help. Elisha was God's representative on earth, and he was her best hope. Can I help this? Can I help you out real quick? Keith D. Lewis is God's representative to Flint Ridge Baptist Church. And he is in part the best hope that you have if your relationship is ever going to get better with Jesus Christ. You ever get what God wants you to be is because God's representative on earth showed you the way of how to get there. And if you don't ever get there, it ain't your fault. Yeah, God told Ezekiel that the blood won't be on their hands. He said, if my people don't know who I am, the blood will be on your hands. So that simply says, it's not your fault if you don't know Jesus. It's my fault if I fail to tell you about Jesus. So Elisha reminds her. He says, baby girl, you don't have to worry too hard.
Huh?
Because one thing about your husband, and I challenge every man in here,
Yes, sir.
that somebody ought to be able to say this about you.
Yeah.
Your husband feared the Lord.
Yeah.
But what does it mean by that, Chief? It simply means her husband was devoted to the call of the Lord.
Yeah.
Her life has been a life of devotion to the Lord, and in her trouble, she still trusted the Lord, and she still turns to the Lord for the things that she needs. In spite of her pain, her problems, her lack of possibilities, her lack of resources, she still looked up to God for the help that she needed, even though she did not see a way out. You won't always be able to see your way out. But you got to look to Jesus to bring you out. I ought to have about 2 or 3 witnesses in here that can clap your hands and testify that he has never failed to come through for me yet. So, verses teach us, these verses are designed to teach us that our problems, while they appear to be insurmountable, while they appear to be more than we can deal with, in our eyes, are really just opportunities for God in disguise. Therefore, no matter what you're called on to face in this life, turn to the Lord first for the help you need, because he cares, and he is able, and he will work in your need. Not only in verse number 1 that we find that God knows about our problems, but in verses 2, 3, and 4, we find that God releases our potential.
All right.
God releases our potential. It would have been easy for Elijah to say, okay, sister, you've suffered long enough. The Lord is going to meet your need. Just go home and wait for him to work. Y'all ever been around some folks like that?
Huh?
You got a problem and they tell you, God's going to work it out.
Yeah.
Well, take a little bit of oil. Rub it on your forehead. Tell you to lift your hands. They slap fire between your hands. Tell you to name it, claim it, call it, and haul it, grab it and blab it. God got it, go get it if you want it. There's nothing that you can't have. The earth is the Lord, the fullness thereof, and the world they dwell therein, and then have the nerve to ask you for an offering. They get the blessing and you still got the burden. But instead of taking that way out, the Lord chose to involve this widow in her own miracle. Good God.
Come on, Pastor.
Every time you need something from the Lord,
Huh?
the Lord really wants to use you in order to bless you. Y'all missed it. God wants to know, what are you willing to do to get what you really want?
Yeah.
I want to be healed, but I don't want to take no medicine. I want cancer to leave, but I refuse chemo. I want my heart to get back in rhythm, but I don't want to have the surgery to take care of the things that are causing my heart to be out of rhythm. My legs, my ankles, and my feet are swelling, but I don't want to have surgery to open that artery in my leg because I just don't want to do it. God wants to use you in your own miracle. Quit asking folk to You going to get a call on faith and they got 9 months now? I remember when I was growing up. My pastor was preaching one time and he was asking a question. He was saying, how many of you want what God has for you? All right. And then he said, if you want that new car, you go down to the car lot.
All right.
And tell them, folk, my Father is rich in houses and land, and he holds the world's riches at the palm of his hand. All right. He said, if I want it, I can have it. And I want that car right there.
All right.
And I'm not going to leave until I get it. I don't know what it is about the class of 1974 out of Hurd County. But one of Deacon George Glenn's classmates. One of Deacon George Glenn's classmates.
Yeah.
Monica, she went over to Mike Fitzpatrick in Newnan.
Yeah.
She named it.
Yeah.
She claimed it.
Yeah.
She got it. They got it back. She got a job.
Yeah.
And went back and got it. You gotta use resources.
Yes.
If you don't have the resources, leave it where it is. I still want that S550. Y'all thought I forgot about it, didn't you? My money might make the payment, but I can't get that on chain. You gotta know. I think Willie Nelson said it best. Willie Nelson said it best. You gotta know when to hold them. How does God erase our faith? The Lord erases the widow's faith through 2 questions asked by Elijah. Look what Elijah asked this woman. Look what Elijah asked this woman. I hope y'all still looking with me. Y'all still with me, ain't you? Look what Elijah asked. Elijah asked the woman, what do you need? Do y'all see it? Yeah. And then he asked her, what do you have? You see God trying to work with her and involve her in her own miracle. See, the miracle is what she needed. Her involvement is what she already had. Did y'all get that? By these 2 questions, this woman was made to see the size of her need and the smallness of her own resources. She needed everything, but she had very little. Yep, she needed everything. She needed much, but there was no way she could possibly meet her own need.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, God uses trials and heartaches and burdens in life to bring us to a place where we can honestly see our need and our own inability to meet them. Think about it. As long as you have your own ability and you can think you can handle all things that come up in your life, why do we look to the Lord? If you have all the answers, why should you turn to Him with your questions? But when we stop and honestly, answer those 2 questions, we will realize that we need more than we will ever be able to supply for our own selves. I'm trying to get out of here now. God does this to erase our faith. Somebody gonna tell me that. Some of y'all trying. I hear the question. I hear the question. If you tell us we gotta have faith, then why are he gonna erase our faith? Partially because the faith that you already have is not faith that is based solely upon him. The faith you have does not depend on him and him alone.
Yeah.
So he wants to get you to a point to where you're no longer looking at anything that you can do for yourself, but you're only looking to him.
Yeah.
Are y'all with me?
Yes.
This is clearly seen in the battle over little Ai in Joshua chapter number 7. Y'all do remember that, don't you? Israel had just come off a great victory at Jericho, and they were confident in their own abilities.
Right.
They failed to look to the Lord for the help they needed, and a little village that should have been an easy victory turned into humiliating defeat.
Amen.
When Israel got their priorities in order and put God first, they were allowed to enjoy the victory in Joshua chapter number 8. So I need to tell you that. That's what I'm trying to get to. You've got to get your priorities in order. You got to put God first. Until you put God first, you will never be able to experience even the smallest victory that he gives you in your life.
Amen.
All right.
How does God expand our faith? After God erased her faith in herself and in her own abilities, he began to the process of expanding her faith in the power of the Lord to meet her need. Again, he does the same thing in your life and in my life. Once he erases our faith, then he expands our faith. He erases what we already think we got going on. He puts our focus solely on him, and then he expands that focus on him to give us exactly what it is we need. He expands our faith personally. Elijah's second question, he said, when he asked her what did she have, he wanted to know, what do you have in your house? Now some of y'all don't want nobody in your house. Don't worry, I ain't coming nowhere. Just kidding. But you cannot be ashamed of what's in your house.
That's right.
You got some somethings in your house that ain't quite right. You got some somethings in your house that used to not be right. Can I help you out real quick? I got some stuff in my house, still not quite right. And I'm gonna X something and I'm still in the house. So don't be ashamed of what's in your house. This was designed, when he asked her that question, it was designed for the widow to look like she had much, but in reality, it looked like she didn't have much, but in reality, she had everything she needed. She couldn't see it. But God had already given her the very thing that would meet her need. This is right. All the time we want the big and extravagant gifts and blessings. And we fail to tell God thank you for the small things. And how can God bless you with much when you are doing nothing with the little? She told Elijah, let me hasten. She told Elijah, she said, all I got is just a little bit of oil. She said, all I got is a little bit of oil. A little pot of oil. Now a pot in that day, I need you to look at the context of the scripture. When they said pot in that day, that equals a flask. You know that thing y'all used to keep in y'all pocket that y'all drunk out of? A flask. Some of y'all try to look at me like, what's a flask? You still got one. Let me look in your purse. This oil was probably a small amount of anointing oil used by the prophets to anoint the man of God. This little flask of oil had sat in the house unused since her husband had died. I just saw something else in there. God used what her husband left to bless her. I'm not talking about the insurance money. Some of y'all waiting on Joker to croak over so y'all can get insurance money. But he used that which was already used to glorify him, to bless her. It seemed insignificant. But what we fail to realize is that God already has given us everything we need to meet our own needs. That widow said that the only thing of value that she had was a pot of oil. But what she didn't realize is she had more oil than she ever would ever need. He expands our faith personally. He deals with us personally to expand our faith. And once he gets us right personally, then he begins to make us to demonstrate our faith publicly. The widow is told to go to her neighbors. Look at the scripture now. She's told to go to her neighbors and ask her neighbors for pots so that she can place the oil in the pots. Are y'all with me?
Yeah.
And when she gets there, watch this. Some of y'all would have said, when she told them, the preacher told me to come to your house and get a pot to use for the oil that I got in my house.
Yeah.
Look at y'all. I got oil in my own house. I need my pot for myself. I ain't got time to be fooling with you. If the preacher told you to come get a pot from my house, then the preacher gave you a pot from his house. I know how y'all think. But no, that's not what they did. These two little boys show up need pots. They give them just what they asked for. Don't ask me why I want it. But if I really need to borrow it, why don't you just help me? He does the same thing in your life and in mine. We talk about how we love the Lord, and it's just words. Until the Lord sends us into the valleys of life. And when we are there, and he comes through for us in a big way, it speaks volume to those who are watching. Let me try that again. When God blesses us publicly, it speaks volume to those who are watching us. You do know there is somebody who wants to be like you. And if you live in your life and don't nobody want to be like you, it's time you check the way you live. Yeah. You never know who the Lord is using in your life to speak life to you. Let him have his way in you. You are. Sad, I told this before. You always remind me. You're still just a work in progress. God is still trying to get you to where he wants you to be. Not only did God see her problems, not only did God see her potential, when she brought those pots in, those children brought those pots back, God then shows his provisions. She had a problem, but she used her potential. And God demonstrated some great provisions. The woman and her sons, filled one vessel. And notice, I still have a little bit more. So they filled another vessel. To their surprise, they noticed that they still had a little more. They kept on pouring on until all the borrowed vessels had been filled. She began the day with nothing, but she ended it with everything. That is what God can do. He can take what you feel is nothing and bless you with everything. Verse 5 gives us a lesson about God's provisions. One of the lessons we can learn is that God will do exactly what he promised he would do. Elijah promised that the Lord would fill the vessels in verse number 4. And in verse number 5, the Lord did it. Y'all ain't looking in the Bible with me. Elijah told her that God will make a way for you in verse number 4. And in verse number 5, she experienced the way being made. He will keep all of his promises. Not a single word in a promise of the Lord will go unfulfilled. If God said it, he will do it. God will do everything that he said he'll do. Because he meant just what he said. And I need to stop there real quick and tell you, you ought to say what you mean and mean what you say. If you can't do it, then don't tell nobody you can. Only promise that you know that you're able to come through on. And then God's provisions are unlimited. Some of y'all in here today want to know, Pastor, how is it that you can look like you look with all that you've been through? It's because of the limitless provisions made by God. Sometimes I look at the 3 Hebrew boys, and the Bible says that they did not look like what they've been through. And some of y'all in here still going through some stuff. The stuff that should have you been over and broke down, but you still don't look like what you've been through. The oil flowed until the vessels ran out. And when the day was done, every vessel was filled until it was filled to the brim. Somebody can testify that there is no limit to what God can do. What he done for others, he'll do the same thing for you. What do you know about Jesus? He's all right. Have you ever tried him? Won't he make a way for you? What do you do when you're at the end of your rope? Hold on. Hold on. Everything will be all right. Be not dismayed. Whatever the time, God will. I said God will. God will take care of you beneath his wings. Where love abide, God will take care of you through every high and stormy gale. If your anchor hold beneath his veil, God will take care of you. Anybody here know God will take care of you? I'm reminded, I'm leaving y'all now, but I'm reminded of a story. There was a construction crew building a road out in the country, and in the country they had to cut down trees in order to make that road. Well, while the superintendent was walking around inspecting the trees, he noticed high in a tree there was a bird's nest, and in this nest there were some birds that were unable to fly. He put a ribbon around that tree that simply indicated this tree cannot be cut down because it's unfit or it's not safe for you to cut this tree down. Well, a few days later, superintendent went up in the air in one of the bucket trucks to look over into the bird's nest. When he looked over there, he noticed there were no birds in the nest, and he took the ribbon off of the tree. They cut down the tree, and when the tree fell, they noticed that there was old pine straw in that bird's nest. There was cardboard in that bird's nest. There was pieces of newspaper in that bird's nest. Well, he pulled one of the pieces of newspaper out of the rubble, and it simply said, God will take care of you. God will take care of you. That's what I want to leave with you. When you're at the end of your rope, God will take care of you. When it seems there is no hope, God will take care of you. Won't he do it? Won't he do it? Won't he do it? Won't he take care of you? If you are here and know he'll take care, shout thank you, Lord, for taking care of me. Yes, God will take care of you. So when you're at the end of your rope, don't give up. Don't give in. Hold on. And you'll find that God will make a way for you. God will make a way for you. And I don't know how you feel about it, but I find out that his will, the way he works, is always in my best interest. So don't ever feel like God has forgotten about you. He knows your problems. He knows your potential. And he knows how to make provisions. Don't give up. Hold on. Hold on. A little while longer. And everything will be all right. Burdens, I had my share of burdens, but I'm still here. Trouble, I see my share of trouble, but I'm still here. Bruises, I've taken my lumps and bruises, but I'm still here. Through it all, I made it through another day's journey. God kept me here. I made it, I made it. Listen, lied on, many times I've been lied on, but I'm still here. Dark days, I've seen my share of dark days, but I'm still here. Through it all, I made it. Listen, it's by the grace of God I'm still here today. He was always there, no matter what came my way. From the prayers and help in my time of need, standing right there to see it on me. Yeah. The door of God's house is open. I made it. Oh, I made it. I made it. Yes, I'm still here with everyone. I made it with everyone. Still here through it all. I made it another day.